Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time on this channel, you're welcome. I am A.H.P and I'm an author and I also do business. Now today's video is basically me sharing with you something that I had a dream about, and I believe that it has been in the news, and I've been wanting to do this video for the longest while. But I have been doing other videos, so I thought, let me do it today. Let me get it out the way today. So this video is basically for that part of my channel where it's called, where we talk about real life issues, okay? And this is an issue over here in the UK, and other parts of the world are experiencing it, or there is talks about it. And so yeah, so I just thought, let me share basically what I saw. Now I don't want this to come to pass, like what I saw, like what I believe that God showed me. um I don't I don't want it to come to pass, but if it does, you have to know, what's it called, you have to know, basically you have to be prepared for what next if this happens, if the government of your nation takes this decision, and the reason behind it. Now I often tell people that, human beings are not necessarily the issue behind what we see. This world is a spiritual world, so everything that happens in the spirit first before we see it manifest in the earth, whether you want to believe it or not. And it's the same thing with the issue of this pandemic when it first began. And I have a two-part video called Pharmaceutical Industry in on this channel, for the same, same aspect of the YouTube channel, which is basically real talks. Those videos are for real talks. The pharmaceutical industry videos are for that part of this channel. And basically, once again, in before I explain like what I'm about to explain, let me share with you the dream type vision I had. For those of you who don't know, I am a Christian. I believe that Jesus Christ is Lord. I'm a born again Christian. I'm not just a Christian, I'm a born again Christian. So I do believe that Jesus Christ is Lord. Okay, He is the Savior and He is Lord. Alright. Now, with that out of the way, basically in December, okay, in December, I had this dream type vision, and it's not the first time I've seen something like that, but it was reoccurring. And whenever something reoccurs, it means that it's important, like God is trying to get our attention. Okay, so basically in this dream, I'll just share with you the last one that I had. Basically in this dream vision, I saw myself, okay, I saw myself at terminals, like terminals where you're gonna get the train, or where you're gonna get the what's it called, go to the airport, like you're traveling. It was like that, and basically I went through the terminals, okay, I pressed and the gates opened, and I went through the terminals, and people had gone with me, okay. And as I went through the terminals, I was going down the escalators. I saw this being come to me and give me what looked like a liquid, like a form of liquid in a bottle, like for that which you do the syringe. And I said no. I shook my head. No, like I wasn't having conversations at this point with this being. I wasn't having conversations. I just shook my head to show like refusal. And it was like, it kept like adamant, just this being kept being adamant, like, yeah, like wasn't taking it away. So I took it, and when I took the liquid thing in the bottle, I threw it on the side of the escalators, and it fell down. Okay, um basically the thing, what's it called, the bottle fell down and it broke, okay? And this being fell from where it was, like it was above the escalators bit, like holding onto the bars, and it fell down like straight on the floor, trying to salvage um basically the liquid that I had just thrown, okay, the bottle that I had just thrown, and it had smashed on the floor. Now the escalator started moving, and when it moved, it got to a point like in front of me. It was what looked like for lack of a better word, it looked like fashion week. But it's like this person was getting ready, and there were so many people around this person now, putting the makeup on, putting the clothes on this person. And then I went and I was trying to tell them, like, look, this is the color that will suit this person, this is the color that will suit this person. And all these people just ignored me, who were working on this person. And I was like, no, look, this is the color that that will suit this person. And then all of a sudden in the vision, I saw this being behind me on the second part of the escalator, but it was behind me. And these people, they weren't listening to me. And then the woman was like, oh, is it this color? And I was like, yeah, this is the color. And then eventually, because they weren't listening to me, I got so frustrated in the dream, and I basically left, okay? And I walked down, and that being disappeared. And as I walked around, I saw people that were so poor. Like these people that were at the top, by the way, they were very rich. Okay, like they were very like wealthy basically. And um, you know, and as I went down the escalators, I started seeing people in this community, and they were just so poor. Like they had messy face and all of that, like poor conditions. That's what basically they had. And not only were they poor, but they didn't want to like speak to you or anything like that. Everything had been abandoned in this community. And I was walking around and asking people like, where is this? Where is this? Because it looked like a place I've never been before. And everybody was just passing by me. They weren't responding to me or anything. And then, it got to a point where I went, and then it was like I was in a room and these children were in the room, and I was like, where is this? Where is this? And the children said, oh, this is Venezuela. This is Venezuela. Like I had moved from the free space, the outdoor space, now into a room, like just moving through. And they said, this is Venezuela. Like we're waiting for our bus. It's coming at 11. And I looked at the time, and it was still nighttime. Like it was dark and all that. And then, and I woke up, and I was like, God, why are you showing me about Venezuela? Like, why are you showing me Venezuela? And why are you showing me this thing? Like, I knew it had to do with that thing. Like, why are you showing me this thing to do like with Venezuela and all of this? So a couple of days went by, and I'm praying, trying to figure out, like, God, why are you showing me this? Like, why Venezuela? So I began to pray for Venezuela, and but at the same time, I'm asking God, like, God, what is this? Like, why are you comparing like the UK to Venezuela? Like, where I am to Venezuela? Like, why are you comparing that to Venezuela? And lo and behold, I was on a YouTube channel, um, and basically they were sharing about Venezuela, like what really happened to the economy of Venezuela. And for those of you who don't know what happened to Venezuela, is basically Venezuela was a very rich, and still is a very rich nation, a very rich country. um However, their government, basically the person who got elected and is now in government, basically sold them a lie, told them, they will do this and this and this and this for the citizens and everything, and they rigged the vote and everything, and it got to a point where they controlled Venezuela. So now in Venezuela, they are so poor. Like the poor people are so poor that some of them can't even afford food, and it's gotten to a point where the poor are so poor. Like the schools is all messed up. Like some of the children can't go to school. A lot of them can't go to school, and the families were protesting. The teachers are not being paid, and all of that kind of stuff. So there is chaos in Venezuela to a point where they were like having issues, you know, um, in Venezuela, and inflation and everything. Um, it was so high that people can't can barely afford to live on what they have. And basically when I woke up, I knew like what God was trying to show is that the vaccine man mandate the mandating of vaccine um is gonna cause the impact on it is gonna cause basically poverty, like people basically to be controlled. That is one of the reasons why the enemy wants to mandate vaccines in nations, to control the people of the different nations. Because after that vision, a few days later, I literally saw like I was in a country where so many people were like in lockdown. It was basically like a prison, but it was locked down. And then the people that were outside, there were other nations like they were outside and they were at home. They couldn't do they couldn't do much. They were just at home with their children and everything. And life was just not the same anymore. And so I just knew that, that what the enemy wants to do by mandating vaccines is basically to control nations, to control the people within nations. And that is basically it, like literally. And the impact of it is going to be so much so that you wouldn't be able to work. Like you wouldn't be able to work if you don't get vaccinated and all of that. I'm not advocating vaccine mandates, okay? I'm not advocating vaccines. By now you would know where I stand in regards to this whole vaccination thing. You would understand like where I am. Basically I'm not for that vaccine. For this pandemic, I'm not for it, but because of the revelation that I have on this whole mandating and all of this stuff. Okay, now so yeah, that's where I stand. For those of you who are wondering, like, what, da, da, da. Okay, so basically you end up losing your jobs, and we've seen that, we've seen a lot of people, they're losing their jobs because they're refusing to take the vaccine, that their companies are requiring them to take the vaccines for in order to work. And there has been talks about um passport, like COVID passports. You have to basically show that you've been vaccinated in order to enter, places like cinema, restaurants, and even nightclubs and all of that. They're now talking about it being revoked in the UK, like not needing that anymore to go into these places. But that is going to be the impact on the economy, like, because a lot of people do rely on their work in on their work in order to live. And a lot of people, in terms of travel, they travel a lot. Like the travel economy, what's it called, the travel industry in most countries like brings in the revenue of the economy, like on a large scale. And so when people turn around and say we don't want to take the vaccination, and we would like not travel, basically that will break down the travel industry of the economy of the nations. And also when it comes to like work, like schools and all of these places, we need schools, we need nurseries and all. And when nursery nurses and health workers and all of that, they turn around and say, well, we don't want to take the vaccination in order to keep our jobs. Like, you know, like, we're going to lose all of this. Like, the UK is going to lose all of this. And I don't think that people envisage, like, what UK will look like if it was looking like Venezuela. As in, most of the things that we rely on will be cut down, like short supply and all of this. And you know, because obviously only a few people will take the vaccines, people who are like really like desperate, or they're not aware of the whole impact of the vaccine and all of that stuff. Okay, they're the ones who will be taking it and they'll be working. But how many people, like in comparison to what we have now, would actually be willing? You know, and it's affecting like every sphere of life. And in the vision, what I saw, like even the leisure centers were abandoned. They were like literally abandoned. Grass grew on it, like it was just wild. Like leisure places were just like abandoned. Okay, like you could go there, but when you went there was no like staff, no nothing. Like it wasn't the same. So you can imagine how it's gonna be like. So yeah, what do we do? I believe that, you know, if you're not gonna take the vaccine, find a way of working from home, being able to provide for yourself and for your family from the comfort of your home, or even if it's outside of your home, you know what you'd have to do. But yeah, basically, entrepreneurs, that's the next level. That is basically what is going to help us to survive, like to not be at the mercy um, of the government of our nations. Um, that's literally it. And also, just keep praying. Like, let us keep praying and also preparing. Yeah, let us keep praying and, you know, also preparing for anything that may happen in our nation. Let us just be aware, pray, prepare, you know, prepare to be able to teach your children at home, prepare to be able to work from home, prepare to be able to travel, not necessarily the, what's it called, the traditional route. If they put bans on travels, like how are we gonna do that? Or, you know, we pray that God turns it around so that there's no mandating of vaccines for travel and all of that good stuff, and well, all of that stuff. Okay, so that is it, guys. Let me know in the comment section, your country, have they had this discussion? How do you feel about it? Other than that, have a good day. Today is Monday. um it's still very much night time, and I just woke up to be able to film this before dropping my son to school runs. Um, it's been raining, it's been windy, the weather is not looking too great today. However, we gotta do what we gotta do, and I've got the flu. And in the UK at the moment, when you catch the flu, yeah, they tell you like, oh, in the schools basically, they'll tell you to take the PCR test. So it's because of the change of weather. Basically, we are moving from cold to warmer month. So this always happens to me. Like my son will get it, and then I'll get the flu. Yeah. Sorry, guys. But yeah, that is it, guys. I shall see you in the next one. Bye.